like there were more than just the 6 people. I don't think they could have just operated it by themselves.
I like that.
Well,
I like that question.
I do, I like it, and I, well, and I just think you recently, I don't know, just recently rewatched anything like this, but at the beginning, it's basically, I look at it as the 6 people there pulling that thing, the tug, basically pulling through space. So the Nostromo itself was, I mean, it was large. It had about 3 or 4 decks, I think. But, you know, but if you look at that, it's supposed to be all automated. Think about it this way. It's not the Navy. It's an independent company. They're going to do things as cheap as they can. What's the bare number of people we can put on these things and get this job done?
Well, not to mention we also have the Android on there that
Yes.
didn't require sleep, didn't require...
Well, they didn't know that, though.
Well, true, but,
yeah,
I mean,
yes. In an emergency, he could have done something.
He could have done something.
And that's the other thing, too. Perfect corporate mindset. Not only this, you're going to sleep most of the way, so we have to pack a lot of food for you. You know, I mean, yes, there's economical benefits to that, but still, it's the idea that we're going to make you go to sleep for basically the lion's share of the trip and hope you wake up when you get there. I mean, that's, it just wears me out just thinking about it.
You know, so, first of all, I like I said, I just want to reiterate that was, you know, a great question asked, because I always have held a long sort of, you know, question in the back of my head is like, you know, how are they reconciling this with just a small crew with all of this equipment? You know, how, you know, but you explained it perfectly. I think that's, you know, that's a perfect explanation. But I want to say that, you know, kind of going back to the whole idea of the ship being almost a plot device, because, you know, what's the first thing that happens that sets things in motion is, just notwithstanding the fact that they got the call and the stress call and started to figure it out and say, hey, woke everybody up, and then they got to go down there and investigate this thing. But when they get down to the actual, you know, planetoid or whatever it is, you know, the first thing that happens is they damage the ship just in the landing sequence.
Yes.
You know, and then it sets in motion. It's like, okay, now this ain't just a normal thing. Now it's critical. Now we are definitely in a situation where we got to get this thing fixed. Not even talking about whether we get the mission done. We got to get this thing fixed, or we're not leaving.
That's right.
You know, so that was you talked about the design of the ship and, you know, how real it was, but that moment when as soon as it hits, you know, they're like 3, 2, 1, you got the readout, you know, showing it actually descending down to the ground, and then you see, you know, one of the feet, you know, actually kind of bend like this, and you can see something's not right, and it bends, and then all of a sudden, you know, there's steam going
really good.
I was like, does he do the sound?
Yeah. It's like the guy on Police Academy.
Well, and, you know, since you brought that up, that's another thing. When I watched it, I was, Ashton, how old were you? I was like, okay, I was younger than you when I saw it. And that was, again, that was weird. Like, they just land. I mean, they hit a rock when they landed, and like, what? But it was Ridley Scott trying to say, this is not Star Trek.
Right.
This space travel is dangerous. I mean, it's dangerous just to land. And like you said, you totally forget. I mean, and I always forget that too. And even when I watch it, I go, oh yeah, I forgot. They ran into trouble down there just trying to get the ship to take back. You forget about that part of it where they may be stuck here for a long time. And what I thought was really neat, one of the things that spoke to me, and well, we've all talked about the sets, but the way they juxtaposed Ron Cobb's design of the Nostromo, and it's very industrial, mechanical, with that H.R. Giger alien ship. Well, we learned would be the engineer's ship. But I know, I'm not going to go there. But I mean, it's organic and it's mechanical and it's alive, but it's not. I mean, it was just the neatest. I'd never seen anything like that before, ever. And every time they try to do that in movies now, like, you're just ripping off Giger. You're just ripping. I mean, that's how I feel about it. So
Species.
Species comes to mind. But yeah, I mean, unless anyone wants to add something to that, I mean, I always thought that was.
Well, I think I can add a little bit from the marketing standpoint. when this movie came out, it was not your son's Star Wars. This was dirty. We don't have lasers. We don't have lightsabers. We don't have the Force. We're going to be in space, and we don't know what's going on, and it's going to be nasty. And just the visual, like you said, with the A, the L,
Yeah.
showing up on screen, and then the trailer, and then just the egg. Very simple, very plain.
Less is more.
Exactly. And that's when Spielberg did Jaws. You know, due to a lot of issues, they didn't show the shark that much, and it ended up working out really well. So the less is more really helped this movie.
It goes back to the Hitchcock thing that Jason was talking
Exactly what I
about.
was thinking, the Hitchcock thing, I mean, it's always the anticipation of what's to come. And they kept you on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, the fear aspect started as soon as you saw a commercial. So, and that's why a lot of kids
Yeah.
weren't allowed to even see it, because it's like, no way am I letting my kid see, Alien like that. That's horrible. So.
Well, you did.
Yeah, you did.
You're
And
welcome.
there's some people from DHS.
Touche.
There's some people from Child Services that are waiting outside the movie, but they know we're going to finish this first. So.
See you guys.
Jay, did you want anything about Geeker? I know you loved Geeker's work.
Just fascinated with his visions. I mean, this guy, I've heard stories about how he
His
is
visions.
personally, and I will not go into
Yeah.
details on that.
Earmuffs.
However, he was a visionary with horror, with creation of things that are just completely unimaginable. The fact that he can go from one, okay, they said, well, we loved your creation of this monster head, this sketch. We want you to do this and this and this and this, and then everything has to be completely different, but it has to flow. You have to have symmetry. So the ship, the egg, the layout of how all that flowed together, the face hugger, everything, it looked extremely similar, but absolutely different. I mean, you can tell it was done by a master creator, a master visionary with creating these awful things, and it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful work.
Okay, so I'm going to move on to that. Actually, we kind of dovetailed into talking about the film itself in a way that I kind of wanted. I'm not going to waste our viewers' time or your guys' time by discussing the plot of Alien. I think we know what the plot is at this point. So we're kind of talking about the individual things that spoke to us, and that's really what I wanted to do. Some of the things one of the things that touched on me, and we'll again kind of go around this again, was, as we talked about the crash when they got stalled, when they got into trouble down there, you forget about that, because everybody remembers the face hugger and the chest burster and the alien. You forget about that. The thing I always forget about, that when I rewatch it, is we talk about the claustrophobic atmosphere, the isolation, but the characters of Ash and the concept of Mother are creepy as hell. I mean, you've got, as we talked about, the corporate aspect of it, you've got the ultimate corporate spook embedded in your group that you don't even know he's there. I mean, Ripley suspects it. That was something else you brought about. I'll let you talk about how Ripley's is cursed with knowing the right thing to do and no one believes her. But, you've got Ash and you've got Mother that are, to me, it brings out another fear of, kind of like what John Carpenter touched on in his remake of The Thing. One of us is not who we think we are. And then you've got Mother, which is basically everything on that ship was controlled by her. She was the one that heard that signal, and she was the one that woke them up. And so, it's just like...
Would you say that she was sentient? As close to the possibility of it being at that point in time.
Boy, I don't know.
In the timeline that we know of.
I think she's more Alexa on steroids.
Yeah,
That's where we're progressing.
Still very dangerous.
she's definitely the HAL 9000's bitchy other sister. I could say that.
Yeah.
I mean, she makes HAL look, because you both her and Ash are manipulating the entire crew, and they don't even know it. So with that, if anyone wants to expound on that point or talk about something else, please feel free to do so.
Well, I'm just kind of curious, and I really don't want to bring it up, but I mean, could...
But I'm gonna bring it up.
I'm going to.
But I'm gonna.
But could Mother have been, in her programming, alerted to see this signal? Because with Prometheus, we now know that ship was part of, a different history, not a different
Right.
history, but a history. And this could have been something in her programming that if you catch this signal or you detect this, you must investigate. So it kind of, I don't know if I agree with the sentiment. I think it's more in her programming that be on the lookout for this because there was potential there before. So that was kind of my take.
So I think what Jason said about or Sprout, so
We'll get there.
said about the the sort of projecting into the future, the fears of machines taking over this whole thing. Because if you go back to the HAL, you mentioned HAL, but you don't understand HAL was based off. That was a concept that kind of, was meant to sort of be a metaphor for, like the takeover of the scares of like IBM.
Right.
You understand how
Yes.
is IBM?
Yeah.
Those words. So
Exactly.
it's HAL or the three
Right.
letters that follow the IBM, and that's why they connected that. But it was
Right.
all to go sort of, package and manifest the fears of, computers taking over.
Right.
So I think this is a borrow or a callback or kind of a, homage, kind of, if you will, to Hal in that sense. But I 100% agree. I think that was purposeful. That Mother was that overarching extra layer of fear. That you're being controlled by this ship
Yeah.
that's actually that could possibly, I think, metaphorically be sentient, not truly be sentient,
Agreed.
metaphorically saying, hey, this other thinking being that you got to worry about.
Well, and keep in mind, it's as sentient as we make it in our mind.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure,
you call the thing Mother, for God's sake.
Exactly.
And the other thing that, to add a layer to that, the part of the creepy factor is when you go in that room, and that it's the only thing on the ship that looks like a science fiction room.
Right.
It's the only set that really looks really sci-fi, and you get
it's
in there.
very, very Hal Corman.
Yeah, and you get in there and you've got that breathing sound, like it's breathing, and again, I caught this when I was watching it again. Mother never answers your question directly. What's the story, Mother? And it's this directive, such as it's never a, well, we did that. No, it is a very vague answer for you to infer, this is what I can tell you. You go do the homework, kind of thing. So to me, that's creepy. Didn't know if we had anything else we want to add on that.
Is if you're calling tech support overseas.
Yeah.
It's very scripted.
Hello, this is my
It's
mother.
never
Yes.
specific to what you're actually trying to get done. It's like, oh, I hope I've helped you today. No, you've literally done nothing to help me today. Well, have a great day. No, that's not possible either. All right, love you. No, I hate you too.
Because at the end when she's trying to stop the self-destruct, it's almost like Mother's like, yeah, fine, screw you, Ripley. But anyway, and speaking of that, maybe I shouldn't go into this with this young man at the table, but okay, so when Ash flings her on the table and he rolls up the magazine,
Right.
what the hell, man? It's some seriously, it's like
Next level.
some next level sexual, psychotic connotation. But the whole, and I didn't get this when I was young. The whole movie is full of sexual imagery.
Sure.
Even the hatches in the air tubes, they open and close, and then and of course, the alien. And Geek. You expect that on a Geekers thing, but everything else in this movie, I'm like, wow, there's some serious sexual commentary going on.